We really thank you for joining us and for the honor to join us at the Academy of Cultural Diplomacy. And here in Berlin, we would like to ask you like several questions in order to hear your thoughts and your opinions on some like serious and some issues. So my first question will be like concerning like Tunisia, of course. Like what are the current 5 major challenges of Tunisia? And what do you think the solutions to these challenges? And do you think like what do you think, like, how can we solve, like, these challenges and issues?
Well, you probably know that Tunisia was the first country in the Arab world, to have this so-called Arab Spring. It was the hope of the country and the hope of all the region that at last we are going to have democratic states and society free from corruption, etc., etc. Unfortunately, for many reasons, this dream is over because now, after 10 years, we have once again the comeback of the dictatorship. Because dictatorship is mainly the fact that one man holds all the power, and this is exactly what's happening in Tunisia. So the first challenge is to go back to the democratic revolution, which means to go back to the constitution, abolish it by this constitutional coup by the man ruling Tunisia currently. This is the first challenge. Come back to the democratic process stopped by the counter-revolution. The second challenge is the economy, because our main problem now is the rise of poverty, the melting down of the middle class. The economic crisis is extremely severe, and this crisis is mainly due to the political instability. Because since 10 years we have had about 10 governments, nearly one government by year. So when you have a political instability, you never have economic growth. So we have to stop this political instability so that we can go back to the economy and focus on the economy and make the economy our first priority. Then the second problem is that during more than 4 decades we didn't the problem is not only the political system, with the education system, the health system, the judiciary system, all the social system, that are important for a society, haven't been improved. And this is why we have the collapse, not only the political system, but also, once again, the other social system. So we have to go back to all the social system, to assess what's going on and to improve their functioning. And then we have also a huge crisis coming from everywhere, and this is climate change. Here in Europe, everybody is talking about climate change, but in our countries, it seems that it's not our problem. In fact, it is our problem. Our region, the Middle East, North Africa, are the most dangerous, the most threatened part of the world by the climate change. So those are the main challenges that Tunisia has to face, and they are huge challenges. I hope that we will have the courage and enough resilience, to face them.
Okay.
And for the other question was what to do. Well, of course, what to do. We have to first to stop the coup, and we once again to go back to the democratization process. Stop it in 2014. We must have political stability, so the economy can grow once again and give hope to the hundreds of thousands of people jobless, and desperate, and trying to leave the country. And we have to tackle the serious threat of the climate change, and this is a very, very difficult situation. Now, it's obvious that under this government and under the dictatorship, no one of those problems would be solved. This is why I think I would call the current president to resign, or I will call on the Tunisian people, to do everything, peaceful resistance, to get rid of the dictatorship, because Tunisia cannot solve any of this problem with the dictatorship.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, like, my third question is like, what's your message to the current president of Tunisia?
Resign.
Yeah.
Resign. Go away.
Yeah.
This is my message. I don't have any other message.
Okay. Understand. It's really. So I will let like the next question like to be asked by my
Now, you mentioned global issues like climate change.
Mm.
My question would not be on climate change, but I would like to ask you what's your opinion on what's happening in Ukraine right now, and do you see the war in Ukraine as a bipolar conflict between the West and Russia?
What happened in Ukraine is an aggression. The Russian dictatorship, it's an aggression. It's against the international law. It's a crime against humanity. But look what happened in Ukraine. You have millions of people, refugees. You have thousands of people killed both in Ukraine and in Russia. This is a crime against Russia, against humanity, and this is an aggression. And I don't accept, I don't buy the argument that it's a war of the West against Russia, because the Russian territory was not invaded by any Western army. It's the contrary what happened. It's the fact that the Russian army invaded a sovereign and free country so it's, for me, it's obvious that it's an aggression, and it must be met with with enough strength, because otherwise we will have any country would feel free to invade its neighbor because it thinks that it has the right to do so. No state has the right to invade any other independent state.
So, in your opinion, what do you think is the solution? Is it a political solution?
I am always for peaceful solution. I hope that there will be an agreement between the Russian and Ukrainian to stop the war. But if the Russian, do not want to stop this war because they want really to achieve their objectives, it's to destroy this independent state, and they have to have a regime which is their regime, etc. I think we have to support the Ukrainian people in its fight, because if we accept that Ukraine would be under the control of the Russian, it means that tomorrow Tunisia can be under be invaded by Algeria be invaded by, I don't know, Nigeria. It will be it will be chaos and the jungle. We have to stop this way of doing. There is an international law, and the international law is to be observed and respected.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a question, and this time is going to be about cultural diplomacy, as we are in an institute of cultural diplomacy. My question will be, how important do you think cultural diplomacy could play in this world, and how do you define cultural diplomacy in general?
Well, I would say that on this planet we are different nations, different cultures, and we have to share this planet. We don't have another planet. This planet is now under a threat, and it's a common threat, and this threat doesn't recognize any frontiers. So we have to have the discussion between different cultures. And of course, I oppose totally you remember this famous myth of war of civilization, which means war of cultures. Civilization and wars are very, very similar words. So fortunately, there are people thinking not in terms of war, but in terms of collaboration or discussion on diplomacy. This is very important, and I think the fact that we take in account the cultural dimension is very important, because nations do not have only interests, but they have different views coming from the culture. And one of the reasons of the misunderstanding between people and between nations is the fact that they don't have exactly the same use of the same word, the same scale of values, etc. So it's very important that we can have this kind of discussion. Not forget that diplomacy, the cultural dimension, is very important.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we came up to an end, but I would like to add one question.
Yeah.
As a senior politician, what would be your message or an advice for the future generation that are willing to be leaders?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't be deterred. Life has been difficult for all generation. It's not more difficult for your generation than for mine. So, and you never give up. Stand up for a right. Never give up.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.